My name is Julian. I am a 45-year-old landscape architect living in a quiet coastal town in Maine. For years, my life revolved around the steady rhythm of designing coastal gardens, sipping black coffee, and tending to the greenhouse behind my cottage. It was a serene existence, but it shattered completely on a damp Thursday afternoon. I expected my wife to return alone from her week-long conference in Boston. Instead, the front door opened and Clara, my wife of 17 years, walked in. Her face was completely expressionless as she dropped a heavy leather portfolio onto the entryway table. Before I could even greet her, she spoke in a tone so detached, it chilled me. She told me they were divorce papers and demanded I sign them immediately. Then she added that starting next month, I needed to transfer $9,000 monthly to her account, casually remarking that my boutique design firm barely qualified as real work anyway. I stood paralyzed, staring at a woman who suddenly felt like an absolute stranger. Yet it wasn't the financial demand or the betrayal of the papers that truly paralyzed me. It was the man stepping out from the shadows behind her, Marcus. Marcus had been my closest friend since our university days, the best man at our wedding, and the one person I trusted with my deepest vulnerabilities. Now he stood there, casually leaning against the doorframe with a smug, victorious smile, as if my entire life now belonged to him. 100 questions rushed through my mind, but I forced my voice to remain entirely steady. I simply looked at them and said, "A divorce? Very well." Both of them caught themselves off guard. Clara narrowed her eyes, clearly expecting an outburst, unable to comprehend my quiet acceptance. But they didn't understand that my silence wasn't submission. It was a shield. In that exact moment, the shock dissolved into a cold, sharp resolve. A strategy was already forming. I didn't ask for explanations. The reality was painfully obvious. I calmly picked up the leather portfolio, turned my back on them, and walked straight into my home office. As the heavy oak door clicked shut, I caught Marcus whispering to her, scoffing about how he knew I wouldn't make a scene, calling me too passive to ever fight back. Sitting at my desk, I placed the documents under the green shaded lamp. My hands were shaking, but not from grief. It was pure, unadulterated fury. I was furious at myself for being blind, for allowing two vipers to comfortably inhabit my life while wearing the masks of loved ones. Clara had spent years convincing me that I was fortunate to have her, constantly implying that my landscape contracts were just an unprofitable hobby compared to her corporate career. I had internalized that lie so deeply that I never noticed how suffocating my marriage had become, a bond where devotion only flowed one way. But that dynamic ended today. I stood up, walked over to the window, and looked at my reflection against the dark glass. There were no tears. The yielding man they thought they knew was gone, replaced by someone entirely unyielding. That very night, I drafted an urgent message to my corporate attorney, the one who secured my firm's structural patents, instructing him to audit every single asset bearing my name. I also reviewed a secondary, private account where I had quietly accumulated the international royalties from my commercial urban designs over the last decade. The balance was substantial enough to leave Clara utterly speechless. They had deeply underestimated me, and that oversight was about to become my greatest leverage. They never saw the countermove coming.